Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Benedict Cumberbatch has turned in memorable performances from Doctor Strange to Sherlock Holmes. You're going to see him in a whole new light as a rough cowboy in Jane Campion's new film, The Power of the Dog. It's now in theaters and streaming on Netflix, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Benedict Cumberbatch makes his character Phil Burbank someone who is not to be messed with, as he carries himself with that forceful, bull-like presence. It's Montana, 1925, in this quaint little town. His brother George, played by Jesse Plemons, starts spending more time with kitchen owner Rose, played by Kirsten Dunst. And as George and Rose start to fall in love, Phil finds that his self-worth and his power over people starts to dwindle. The ultimate guard that he has and carries over himself starts to fall, potentially exposing his vulnerabilities. The film also stars Cody Smith-McPhee as Rose's son Peter, who has his own run-ins with Phil. Jane Campion writes and directs the film, adapted from Thomas Savage's novel of the same name. Now, immediately upon hearing Jonny Greenwood's score, you're settling in for what will be a really stirring film. There's a sense of foreboding and foreshadowing, as if you're waiting for it all to implode by the end. Campion's hold over the film comes with how unobtrusive every aspect is, trusting the audience to sense the atmosphere at hand. Her dialogue is kept short, instilling a fear and anxiety to what's left unsaid, as the pauses and the beats within the text and look from one actor to another actor are as emotionally rich as the spoken word or a violent action. Her work with cinematographer Ari Wanger captures the cold and the vast wastelands while not getting in the actor's way. They keep the camera subtle while letting the actors do the work at conveying the scene. Now there's this unraveling at hand as these characters feel a bit trapped in this town and this community that they live in, wondering what's on the other side of this mountain range. Campion lets us in on the life that Phil had before the events of the film, which then gives really rich context for the hard, toxic masculinity that he puts forth. And Benedict Cumberbatch really beautifully conveys this inner turmoil in a really poignant way. Some of his best work comes from the scenes by himself, where his guard is down and the character's soul is on display. Now the same can be said for Kirsten Dunst as Rose, who becomes this target for Phil's anger. It's one of her richest performances to date, as she keeps it all bottled up inside of her. Now another key element to The Power of the Dog comes from Cody Smith-McPhee's tender performance as Peter. He's a soft and gentle creative type whose sexuality is made clear even if it's not outwardly discussed. And like I said before, it's what's left unsaid, and the residual impact that carries that emotional gravity at hand. Now Jane and Campion's film quietly sneaks up on you if you're willing to settle in for it. She's the kind of director who wants the audience to do their part without forcing every emotion and action onto us. She's created this evocative Western full of imagery, mood, and really terrific performances. I'm giving The Power of the Dog 4.5 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I get some of the movie reviews, as well as my appearance on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip. And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Power of the Dog. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.